G'day, Fight the Devil legends. Hope you're all kicking ass and fighting the good fight every day of the week. Before we hit play on episode 12, I'd like to divulge for 2 minutes on the meaning behind my song choice, One of the Boys. One of the Boys is the most underrated classic in hard rock music history, going back to 1978, played by the legendary Rose Tattoo, led by the immortal Angry Anderson. I've seen these guys live 3 times this decade, and I hope to catch a few more gigs before Angry Anderson hangs up the microphone for good next year in their 50th and final year. Now, in relation to today's song choice, One of the Boys hits home for me due to the sense of brotherhood and bromance attached to the boys club. The mateship associated with being one of the boys is worth highlighting, particularly as it pertains to my awesome recurring guests on the group podcast today. I could not have pictured the last 9 months without having the Dream Team boys crew. They have each played an exceptional role in my social and psychological health. We do touch on the importance of this regarding men's mental health. So there are some serious turns this episode takes while still showing plenty of themes of being one of the boys that is consistently lighthearted, comedic, pot-stirring, and filled with great character. It's an honor to be one of the boys. At a time where devils such as egotism, loneliness, and pessimism is ever present, as well as a lot of the recent retired AFL superstars have unfortunately died by suicide, these blokes on the podcast ensure that I don't succumb to any of that. And I hope to think I have the same effect in return with real mateship. Without further ado, here is episode number 12.
Welcome to Fight the Devil podcast, episode number 12. That's right, we've hit a dozen eggs. And what better way to celebrate 12 episodes in Fight the Devil's half-a-year history than having the funniest bunch of blokes that I've gotten to know very well in the last 9 months. I'm super excited and will say that episode number 7 has been the most re-listened to episode that I love to play back anytime I'm bored, in need of a laugh, or want to feel like I'm hanging out with a great group of lads. That was the Conspiracy Theories episode, and credit to the intelligent and witty personalities of Tyrone, Callum and Geoff, aka Big Roan, Sea Dog and El Jefe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dream Team is back to celebrate the dozen. Welcome back, lads.
It's good to be back.
Hey.
I meant every bit of that. I enjoy listening to you guys back over a few times. They're really great fun last time. It was great success.
Yeah, I'm blushing.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Oh, he does that too. Yeah, he has that effect.
Yeah.
It means everything to have all of you on again, 2 months after our first successful group podcast. And let's start with a bit of feedback before we launch into the Dream Team Round 2 edition. Callum, last time we heard from you was that the pipes were clean and shit had been sorted. How's the plumbing holding up now?
Beautifully, actually. Really happy that I got I don't know, he's a family friend. He's been a family friend for ages. Great guy, great plumber. Everything's holding up.
Great guy.
Yeah. Great guy. He really fixed my plumbing problems, really plugged those holes. Yeah, he's done a great job. No issues.
No. Okay, so nothing bad to report?
Nothing bad to report at all.
Oh.
Very happy chappy.
Yeah, it's all sorted now by the sounds of it. But, from what you were telling me, getting everything organised to fix those pipes, was it a drainer or what?
Okay, you can go home now. Yeah, it was
my God.
It was
Starting it early.
Yeah, it was, Luke. It was a drain. It wasn't a drain. It was a fucking toilet. But yeah, no, it's all fixed now. So happy chappies all round.
Good stuff. No, awesome to hear. We don't need that shit on the shit water on the floor. So, no, good stuff.
Oh, almost.
Water under the bridge.
Hey, yes.
There, got that one.
I'm now overflowing with emotion.
As long as it's not shit, I'm happy.
All right, Roan, on to you now.
Oh boy. Yep.
On the
Clench
final,
those teeth, boy.
on the final moments of our last episode, we could hear a pin drop. You were lost for words after Callum's declaration that there was more than just dream team chemistry in a group setting, but further Callum declared that he felt physical chemistry towards your good self. It's been 2 months now, Roan. How's this confession sitting with you?
It's gotten a little bit better because Callum's been able to, talk myself, a younger person, through the process of it. So, as someone who might have been a little bit inexperienced with it, Callum's like words and of inspiration, or you might want to say persuasion, have actually kind of led me around more to his way of thinking. So yeah, I guess in a long-winded process, I guess you could say he's sort of, what has he done to me? He's guided me.
I've opened you up to new possibilities.
To new thinking.
Yeah.
Lawyers would call it groomed, but not me. So
Hey, whoa, that's slanderous. These are like belly comments, my friend. You'll hear from my lawyers.
So yeah. I'm very open to it now.
Oh,
good,
yes,
good stuff.
I'm like a book.
Many pages to
Started
turn.
lying.
I fold easily.
Throw it about
Easily
the room
done.
without care.
Oh God.
Good stuff.
Stuff in any crevice I can fit it.
Yeah.
Sorry, stop.
Have a quick flick through.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you were much happier and more comfortable on the sharing the same coach as Callum the other day. So good to see it's progressed.
Well, got to sneak attack him somehow.
Yeah, that was good. That made me laugh.
Snuggle with the boys.
All right. And Geoff,
Yep.
biggest highlight from you came from the discussion of cutting your sandwich either horizontally or diagonally.
Oh,
I believe Callum's word of eating it whole like a real man struck a chord
yeah.
with you.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
I don't
as
like
you
anyone
replied-
cutting mine.
As you replied, quote, "I'd like to be a man too someday."
I'm working on it, guys. I've got the beard thing happening for the moment, and yep, it's about the only the only thing I'm really doing at the moment that reflecting my manhood.
Got that great voice too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Could always drop it down another octave.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Hey, go. I need to get a glass of water.
All right.
Are you
Pause the
getting a bit
pod.
thirsty?
Yeah, let me know when you're back, Roan.
Oh, it was a joke, Luke.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying it was getting hot in here.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I tuned out for a sec. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I was just wanting to know, Geoff, how are you cutting your sandwiches these days?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Real man.
Straight in.
Fucking
Just gone
champ.
straight in.
Except I might cut the crust off a little bit.
What
Just so
angle
I've
do you
got
attack it
every
at?
point. I tend to go flat side straight in. Or depending, if I get one slice of bread with just a bit of Vegemite on it, I might fold it over. That would be the only other thing I would do.
Yeah. And just go like straight for the middle bit first, though. No crust.
Straight down the gob, mate. Straight down.
Hell
There's
yeah.
a bit of choking afterwards. And everything
Oh my
like that.
God. The most homoerotic podcast I think that there's ever been.
Coded in here, isn't it?
It's a
Luke, your
Vegemite
podcast-
sandwich. It's
yeah,
not what
Luke,
you
if-
think.
Oh, Luke, I think your podcast is a little bit gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you might just want to listen back to it a bit.
Stating facts.
And
It's been a hot 10 minutes, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Only 10 minutes in. We are running hot with the boys. Dream team's going well.
Just descended, really.
It is too.
Hey, look, I'll steer this back on track. We've discussed some good feedback from episode number 7. That's been fun. So today, we're running a different styled episode to celebrate the dozen in Fight the Devil. No conspiracy theories today, rather one serious question to present to the group, and then some fun debates, speed round questions, a new segment called Who's Most Likely To, and then some dad jokes to end the dozen with a bang.
Okay.
Cool.
First off, though, let's talk about the state of the world.
Oh, no.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on the US dollar at the moment?
It's like have you ever watched, those dash cam videos where there's an accident and everything like
Mate.
that? And it's exactly like that at the moment.
Last night I
We're all
watched
watching
the
vicariously, but we're all affected by it, unfortunately, and that's
last night me and the boys watched the Dashcam Australia. Shout out! Sorry to shout out.
Oh
another
yeah.
channel, but holy fuck, do they make good videos? And they had
yeah.
their annual April Fools, which is where I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically people have submitted videos where they themselves are in the wrong, but they obviously are too idiotic to realize that they were in the wrong. So they've submitted this video regardless. It's really high quality content. Would definitely suggest watching. And me and my boys watched that last night. It was.
I'm gonna get onto that one. Yeah, I love dash cams Australia.
Yeah.
But
sorry,
that's the state of the world. I think at the moment it's like it's not going to hit us for a while. The effect, we're watching all this shit go down, and it's going to be in a couple of months that all this sort of shit's going to flow through. And we're just going to go, oh fuck, yeah, this isn't good. Yeah, it's just an absolute shit show at the moment. But the old Chinese curse, may you be born during interesting times, and here we are.
Should we be worried? You're saying it's going to come around in the next few months. I mean, cost of living is already difficult as it is.
The Aussie dollar's plummeting.
Yeah, look, it is a worry because everything, like all markets, are really linked, whether we like it or not, to the US currency. It's formed the backing of the exchange, and where that has dropped and devalued, it screws everything up. It's basically it's going to be interesting to see what happens and whether markets start going, okay, we need to reevaluate the US backing, because it's not working for the US for starters. It puts them in a bad position, hence their debt levels are absolutely skyrocketing, and also other markets are going, yeah, well, it's when the reaper comes to call, and the US market's dead, it's a case of what are we going to do? And I think there's signs there that the US market is facing that late stage capitalism. It's a case of we bring everything in, everything's backed by it, but we're not producing enough to offset that debt, and hence this is why the tariff thing seemed like a good idea, but it's not. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. But I think
America is currently thrashing on the floor like a fish out of water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
and it's waiting for the big boot of reality to come stomp on its head.
And it's taking down all of its other allies with it. That's the problem. This isn't like
it's not just allies. It's like if you look at the tariffs that they're putting on places,
it's just everyone in the room.
Yeah.
Flinging up shit at the wall. Some of it will stick. Doesn't matter who's standing against that wall, friend, foe.
Yeah.
Apparently they're all the ones that have been pillaging you. So fling shit everywhere.
And it's not even like the GFC where it's like, okay, sure, like America's going, America's stock is plummeting, so our dollar value goes up. Now, they are intent on taking everyone down with them.
Yeah,
because it's like,
oh my god, imagine if their dollar sinks. I'm gonna because last time,
Well,
holy fuck, we got to like $1.16 US.
Because that was the
Imagine
thing.
if you had bought
Yeah,
up American
that's-
currency then.
But what it's also doing, it's forcing because of the trade barriers. So basically, America's shut up shop. So countries that were shipping through to America, this is where the problem is that they're now got to find other markets. It's not that their price is affected; it's just that their GDP is going to go down because
yeah,
they're not
product
being able to
25%.
produce as much
You
because
can't,
it's not as much being bought, and therefore
yeah,
it
you
just
can't sell
creates
the
a
intermediary
spiraling problem.
product
Yeah.
if the end product's not being bought. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's why all these other markets are collapsing. This is, like Australia is not that heavily affected, thank goodness, but we're still going to have to go. Okay, we have to explore other markets. So India
who else
is
do
going to
we want to
become.
sell our beef, iron, and aluminium to?
Well, no, actually India, except for our beef because they, there's
They'll
Oh.
fucking despise
cultural
us.
restrictions and so forth. But our iron, our aluminium, our gold, diamonds, all that kind of crap that we dig up all the time. That's there are plenty of markets for it, so we're not that heavily affected by that. Our resources. It's things like agricultural. That's where we're going to get hit slightly, but even then, Australia's been really clever on what we've done. We haven't relied on just one market. We're always going, okay, where's next? So we're looking at places like India, which are becoming an economic powerhouse. And, they're developing at such a rate that it's going to leave a lot of people behind. But their GDP, their economics are just absolutely phenomenal at the moment for growth. And this is where we're going, okay, yeah, here's a market that we can, get sheep into, we can get, wheat into. So, Australia is in a fairly good position. Countries like Vietnam, which produce a lot, and now they got 90% like tariffs, which is absolutely insane because, when you're looking at the dollar ratio and the parity of, the Vietnamese currency compared to the US is a
The
huge
dong.
difference. And then, yeah, so it actually magnifies the effects of the tariffs when you're doing that because the dollar values then get adjusted, and then it's a case of a lot of these countries that are actually poor are going to be even more poorer and push further into poverty.
That was the
And
thing.
this
It
is
was
where
like,
the real worry is that it's the disparity between the currencies. You add on tariffs, they're not able to produce or sell the stuff that they were. Their GDP goes down. There's no tax base. There's no, it's just going to end up an absolute mess in the third world.
Shouldn't have
That's
been
where
poor.
the real worry is. Western
Silly
countries are
buggers.
going to be fine.
They shouldn't have been poor.
Well, yeah, there is that argument, but there's a lot of reasons why they got poor, and some of it might rely on what we did 100 years ago. But that's a different matter altogether. But no, it's some of these poor countries I'm actually more worried about. Western countries, we'll be fine. We'll just talk to each other. We'll sort it out. It's not
Yeah.
really a big
The same
issue.
thing. Like when we were talking in the last pod, like I'm pretty sure like my words almost verbatim were like, I don't give a fuck what happens internally to America. It's other countries like Ukraine that I'm worried about. And look what
Yeah.
they done did.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
done
that's-
shit the bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trump thinks that Ukraine started this. Like,
Yeah, but that's because he listens to Russia.
I think he knows who started it. I think that
I think what he's not wanting to have happen is the divorce case when all the photos get leaked of what he was doing in Russia and all the compromise. So he's sort of like going, yeah, let's.
I definitely have stuff on him.
Oh, yeah.
He pissed on a bed
But
that
also,
Obama
Trump's
was in.
completely stupid and he's sort of like, he wants to be the power, the power that Putin is in the US. And it's a case of, no, mate. Like, talking about a third term, get real.
Yeah, that's he's
saw
going
that.
to
What are your
go
thoughts
all
on
in that. He'll go all in on that because there's no legitimate successor to the Trump throne, and Musk is not viable. I don't think he'd give. None of his sons have the same level of charisma or like that's the thing. You can't deny there's not something electric about him, which none of his sons have.
there is a solution that I think the Republicans are going to start looking at very closely. And that is if you actually get rid of the president and impeach him and he's out, JD Vance steps up to be president. The Speaker of the House then becomes vice president.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a succession process in place. So what'll end up happening is that if the markets keep going the way that they've been going and they don't level out, Trump's going to be held responsible and he's going to be impeached and he'll be out and the Republicans will do it because they're not going to let a Democrat do it. So 2 years' time, and it'll happen within the 2 years, I reckon, is that they'll get rid of him because
they're turning on him.
Up. If they impeach him, the Republicans then got a point going, yeah, look, we understand what's happened. We got rid of the problem. Vote for us. And yeah, I think that'll end up happening because it's about the only way that they're going to be able to save themselves.
I think
Because
we made the problem, but we fixed the problem.
The Democrats are too cowardly to fight back against it.
You'll be surprised. I think a lot of them are starting to go, yeah.
Hopefully they grow a set of balls by that time.
Well, Cory Booker's not looking too bad, actually. He's got some progressive leanings.
But the annoying thing is it took so long for him to finally go up and break that record for the filibuster the other day. It was just like, well, now you did it. This guy was already president for a whole term, and I don't know. I get that it was impressive. Yeah, but at the same time, it was just like, did it really come at such a dire moment?
What I think what will end up happening is I could probably see the Democrats actually splitting between the progressive, and you're going to find that I think a lot more progressive people are going. You look at what happened with Bernie Sanders and
you're talking about your Bernie Sanders and your AOC sort of group, Ilhan Omar, those sort of Democrats, and then you're more like Joe Manchin. I didn't even say Joe Biden. Your
Nancy
Obama,
Pelosi.
Republican. Yeah, those guys who are happy to shake hands with like
Rusted
those
on
old side of even shake hands with like Bush Republicans, if that makes sense. Like guys who aren't Trump, but
well, you've also got to look at the average age of US senators and Congress.
95 or some shit.
Dinosaurs.
It's
who was
like
the one?
ridiculous.
Who was the dementia one that they wheeled in to make a vote, and she didn't even know why she was there?
Feinstein.
Feinstein.
Yeah.
And then McConnell's the one who's always freezing. We need to know what was happening here.
And she's like, "What am I doing?" You just need you to sign here, ma'am. Just sign here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're a lovely boy, like my grandson.
Then Mitch McConnell going, did I know about the what?
I tell you,
and just completely freeze.
I wonder how often they bring out the paddles to revive someone in there. It's like
they even had it for Biden when he froze up.
Yeah, it's like, and Trump's not young either. He's only a few years younger than Biden.
Trump is
78.
Yeah,
I'm not even convinced that it's like him. I think it's just. I still think he still has. Like he's an idiot, but he's not freezing in the middle of his sentences.
Oh yeah, he's not as bad as what's it, Sleepy Joe.
The Sleepy Joe got nah. So it's kind of difficult to tell.
Sleepy Joe was just like full blown dementia.
Yeah, and Trump's unfortunately completely
gone are the days when people had like a sense of integrity, and when Ronald Reagan started to go, they let him go and just like were like, yep, he's lost his fucking marlies, get him out of here. Yeah. They were all like, no, Biden he's razor sharp. The guy hears a fucking the tinkle of a fucking ice cream truck. Oh, I'm out of here. Just starts
who wouldn't know?
Oh, come on, ice cream trucks. It's Pavlov conditioning, mate. We all have to run for it.
We're all human, Cal.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a soft point.
Yeah, it was a
soft serve, really.
Yeah. Whoa.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
First strike.
I think we got massively off topic. What was the topic?
America.
The US dollar.
Oh well, like okay, so with the US dollar, because like if you look at it, 2011, I think I was looking at the other day, it was like something in the $1.10 to an Aussie dollar value, which is kind of insane to think about. And then throughout the end of
that's what I'm saying. We got up to like $1.16 US.
yeah, and
If you had bought back then, now that we're down at like 68 cents, you'd be fucking rich, bro.
Yep.
You'd be doubling your money, but paying capital gains tax. But it would have been longer than a year, so only 50% capital gains.
Yeah.
tax.
So anyway, if their dollar crashes again, I'm fucking buying, dude. I'm hitting the buy button.
Do you reckon it will?
Yep, that's what this has been designed to do, and this is the reason behind it. Because there was, I don't know if you're familiar with the channel TLDR, but they did a thing, and there's a few other people that have done it as well, about the advisors that are really the ones, telling Trump, what to do. And the whole purpose of the tariff was to actually weaken the US dollar because it's so strong. They can't get manufacturing happening within the country. And this is where it also poses as a security risk, which is exactly what Biden said. We've got a security risk that if we're not producing our own steel, our own manufacturing, if in the event that we end up at war, we don't have the manufacturing base to be able to, continue production to do what they need to do. And this is where the real risk was. And this is why the whole idea of tariffs was to basically weaken the US dollar so that they could pull back and start manufacturing again and not have it be the backing currency for the rest of the world, because all it does is just forces all the manufacturing, all the production out of the country. And what ends up happening is that, US are having to buy everything from outside, and it builds up that national debt. And that's where the problem is.
No sane business wants to go and invest like $6 billion to build their factory in America right now, because there's no fucking clue what's going to happen next.
No.
And this is why Elon's been popular in the US, because he did do his manufacturing in the US. So the Teslas, what he's doing with SpaceX and everything like that. And this is why he's popular in the US, or had been popular. Because he did invest in the US and said, no, I'm going to make my cars here. He could easily do
mega factory.
Yeah.
Where they stole all of the technology and started out competing.
And they actually improved it, which is the other thing as well. It's a case of the technology's been known for a while.
Your fucking intellectual property to China.
Well, actually,
you're
the first
moron
cars,
if you do that.
Yeah, look, the first cars were actually electric. So, before the combustion engine, they were actually mucking around with electric cars and seeing how they work, but they couldn't get the running and everything like that on. It was just easy to go to combustion. But it's a case of the technology's been around forever. You only have to walk in and see a conveyor belt, see an electric engine at work, and it's been around for a while. It's just putting it in car, that's all. But no, it's
Overall conclusion?
we're all fucked, and I think in the next 6 months we're going to find out just how thoroughly we have been. We're going to be run through.
Yeah.
When the dollar crashes, buy.
That is the thing, because it hasn't got there yet.
It's timing.
I know. When we hit like $1.20 US, fucking.
Well, there's talk of recession, which isn't surprising. But I think it's going to go a bit longer than just 2 quarters of negative growth. I think we're going to be looking at a depression the way it's looking at the moment, unless the US Congress go, no, you're not doing that. We actually handle tariffs. Shut the fuck up, Trump. And if he doesn't, they'll impeach him and he's gone. And I think that's pretty much what's going to end up happening. I think they will impeach him. I think they will get him out the way, because there are enough money interests that go, you fuck this, we're going to fuck you.
And then we'll get another riot. Awesome.
Oh, they're going to be riots. Oh, believe me, the riots will start within the next month.
Yeah. So,
When,
get ready, because I've got a few stocks in US companies that I've just watched get gutted the other
yeah,
few days. Um,
You
and I
silly
am
Billy.
I'm just terrified to look at it. Like it was actually interesting to watch the day after Trump got
Well,
elected.
it's fine as long as you don't sell.
Yeah, no,
Until you realize that loss, you're fine. Because
yeah,
the
yeah.
fundamentals of the companies probably haven't changed. They're probably still going to make a profit and you're still going to get a
Um,
dividend.
yeah.
you want something scary? Have a look at the Walmart forecast.
Damn.
That's scary shit there.
It's like it is fascinating though to see like because like when Trump won, everything went up because there was like less regulation was about
Rump,
to be
rump, rump,
introduced. Yeah,
rump, rump.
we're gonna have a massive bull run, and it was like that for a few days, and it went straight back down after
Um,
everyone realized that these things are kind of like all these promises are too good to be
I think,
true, and also we remember what happened during COVID and who was president then.
yeah, but
Mm.
because of COVID, he couldn't do what he's doing now because everything had come to a grinding halt.
Hmm.
So, in a way, COVID saved America. Not that you'd judge that by the death toll, but it basically stopped some of the worst things that could have happened, which is what's happening now. Bearing in mind, I think Trump 2.0 is far worse than Trump
Oh
1.0.
yes, yeah,
Excuse me.
that's the other thing.
Um, yeah, he
Chua.
wasn't meant to win either election, really. But, yep, as
Yes,
the
this
saying
election
goes,
was
it's about
rigged.
the economy, stupid, and that's what wins and loses every election.
In the money, and the same will happen in Australia.
Don't know. It's hard to tell how we're going to go. I don't know whether Dutton will win. I doubt it, but then again, Queensland's a big decider.
Yeah,
Queensland.
Yep.
it's
Queensland
gonna be.
decides
I think it's gonna be
elections.
a fascinating election because it was a few months ago. It was pretty much just look. Not that
Yep.
Dutton's got this in the bag, but it looks very likely.
Yeah, it's Dutton
Lord
being a Dutton
Voldemort.
idiot.
And he keeps on putting his foot in his mouth. And I think that playing the culture wars card in Australia just doesn't fly.
No, it doesn't. We don't
And
give a
here's
fuck.
and I think the other thing is that people are realizing like they like Channel 9 and all these people that all these people who are on the side of Dutton are going out and doing vox pops where they're trying to ask
Lazing him.
yeah, they're glazing him, and they're also trying to ask those questions that like, oh, do you think it's good that they got rid of the king and put an indigenous person on the $5 note or something like that? And and I think to their horror, the reaction of the people is like, yeah, no, I hate the king. It's fine to respect your indigenous people. Or if they go up and they ask like, how do you think Albanese's doing? And the person's just like, yeah, he's doing all right. I mean, it's not great, but I think he's okay. Which, if you know anything about the history of Australia, even saying the guy's okay is a glowing endorsement of a prime minister. It's crazy.
Also, you've got people that have lived through too many years of Liberal governments and how they
Yes.
fuck things up. And it's a case of, well, how badly has Albanese fucked things up? Not at all, really. That's
No, he
fine.
hasn't. He's fixed up a lot of shit from Morrison's government. And the thing
Yeah.
about look, inflation unfortunately has to happen because of COVID.
Yep.
It's just sure it's been awful, but here's the thing: if Dutton gets in, the only person who gets made easier for is the big corps.
And not only that, I think we're seeing what's happened in Britain a lot, where you've got a splitting of the Conservatives. So
Yeah.
we've now got the Teals, which are basically on an
What small
economic side.
rules are
They're
supposed
going,
to
okay, yeah,
be.
we need to factor in things like global, climate change, all this sort of stuff, but they are still, in essence, of a conservative nature.
Yeah,
they're
but that's
just-
because the actual libs are beholden to the Nats. So it's not the libs that
Yeah.
you're voting for; it's the Nats.
and
Whereas
this is,
the
and this is,
small,
yeah.
the Teals
Yeah,
are the
exactly.
small L actual liberals,
Yep.
which just
And
split their vote.
what'll end up happening is in the suburban seats, like where I am, you're going to have, I think they're going to do a lot better in this election than people realise because they're not the Liberal Party. They're not Dutton dickheads, basically. And seeing how the Liberal Party are actually behaving at the moment, they're all behaving like Dutton dickheads at the moment.
My seat is very safe. Has been very safe for Liberal. However, last federal election they nearly got skewered, and then this election it's like it could happen again because our guys are going around every like local sporting club, and I've met some of those local MPs. I just refuse to shake their hand because it is just like, stop, please.
Yeah.
You are you're the most inauthentic people.
Yep.
And I'm like, all politicians, yada yada yada. But there is something about the current nature of conservatism that it just just disgusts me to my core.
Yeah, they're not doing it on policy. They're not providing any guidance on how we're going to do things, how we're going to fix things. It's more on we're going to fix this social problem or that social problem. And look, granted, in Victoria,
culture wars
crime is a big issue. That does need, we're going to do something to address that.
That's a hangover of Trump turning things away from policy.
Exactly,
when Bill
it
Short
doesn't work
lost
here.
and he had genuine fiscal reforms lined up, talked about policy, but he, quote unquote, wasn't charismatic enough, which is just like the most retarded excuse for not voting for someone who would have made your life better.
Because you got to remember, in the US, they're all about, US exceptionalism, and we're all exceptional. And why would I vote for something that's going to hinder my chances of success in the future? And it's going to stop me from being a millionaire, and that's the
change it.
And it's an absolute mind disease because it's a case of, look, the reality is, mate, that you're living in a 2-bedroom apartment in New York that you're paying a humongous amount of rent for that you barely afford, let alone then afford food, and you're going to vote for that? Come on. It's like they're all embarrassed millionaires, basically. But it's like you can't go. And not only that, communism was so derided, and anything that's socialism is automatically associated with communism, and people voting for the good of each other is like no. And then right wingers got people to turn against unions, and unions are bad. They make you pay fees. You got no choice. You got to do as they say. There's no freedom, all that kind of shit. And as soon as you mention taking away freedom, Americans go batshit crazy.
Anywho, sorry, Luke, there was probably something to talk about.
Yeah. No, I think we've covered it all. We've done it. We've yes, we've done the opener, and that was Geoff's thoughts on the US dollar, and we've covered it in good detail.
I'll shut up now.